I knew something was wrong the moment she slid that thick envelope across the table without meeting my eyes. "Just look it over," she said, as if she were handing me a restaurant menu and not the thing that would break our engagement in half. I hadn't even opened it yet, but my hands were already shaking. We were sitting in the quiet corner of the cafe where we had our first date. Back then she laughed so hard her head tilted back, the kind of laugh that makes you feel chosen. But now she sat stiff, crossing her legs like a lawyer waiting for a signature. Her fingers drummed on her phone. And suddenly, instead of feeling like a fiancé, I felt like a client. I tore the envelope open. The words blurred at first, legal terms, percentages, clauses, but one line snapped into focus. The husband agrees to relinquish any financial claims. The husband acknowledges that all assets acquired before and during the marriage shall remain the separate property of the wife. The husband shall provide an annual household contribution. I reread it 3 times. I looked up slowly. "You're treating me like an employee," I whispered. She sighed. The annoyed kind. The kind she used when I misread her tone or forgot to take out the trash. "Don't be dramatic. My parents want this. It's standard. You know how much I have to lose." "And what do I have?" I asked. She didn't answer. In that silence, I realized she didn't see us as a team at all. She saw herself as a prize, and me as someone lucky enough to be allowed near her life, as long as I paid admission. I pushed the papers back. "This isn't love," I said quietly. "This is a contract." "It's protection," she snapped. "You can't expect me to risk everything because you're insecure about a few signatures." But it wasn't signatures I was insecure about. It was a way she said risk everything as if I was a danger. I walked out without finishing my coffee. She didn't follow. For 3 days, she didn't call. Not one message. Not even "Did you read it?" I paced my apartment like a ghost, replaying our entire relationship, every moment, every red flag I'd chosen not to see. There were plenty. How she always insisted on picking the restaurant because my taste is better. How she corrected the way I held a wine glass at her company party. How she introduced me to her friends not as her fiancé, but as the guy I'm seeing. And especially how she froze whenever money came up, even though I never once asked for help or acted entitled. Maybe I should have realized sooner. Love was something she expected to receive, not something she ever planned to give. On the 4th day, she finally texted, "Come over tonight. We need to talk." I almost didn't go. But some part of me needed to see whether there was anything left to fight for. Her apartment was spotless. Too spotless. The kind of clean that comes from preparing to win an argument. She sat on the couch, legs crossed, hands clasped, wearing the same expression she'd worn that night in the cafe. Distant, certain, prepared. Before I could speak, she said, "So are you signing it?" "No," I said. "I'm not." She blinked slowly, as if waiting for my real answer. "So what now?" she asked. I expected tears. I expected anger. I expected something that showed she cared. But she looked at me like a client declining a service package. "Now," I said, "now we don't get married." There it was, her shock, brief and sharp. "You're seriously ending this over a piece of paper." "It's not the paper," I said. "It's what it means." She shook her head and stood. "You're being emotional. You're acting like I betrayed you." "You did," I said. My throat felt tight. "You wrote a document that told me exactly how little you think of me." That was when she finally cracked. "Oh, stop pretending you're the injured one here. You know what my last relationship was like. I'm not getting burned again. Besides," she hesitated, just long enough for the truth to leak out, "you're not exactly on my financial level. It's only practical." There it was, not even hidden, not sugar-coated. And somehow, hearing her say it out loud made everything clearer than it had been in months. I nodded slowly. "Thank you," I said. "I needed to hear that." She frowned. "Hear what?" "That you never loved me, not the way a partner should." The breakup didn't happen all at once. It happened in pieces. Returning the ring box to her doorstep, blocking her number after the 3rd insult-filled voicemail, sending polite, robotic replies to her parents' emails. Everyone assumed I'd regret it eventually, but I didn't. Because 2 weeks after I left her apartment for the last time, an acquaintance of Hayes, a guy from her gym who barely knew me, sent me screenshots. Screenshots of her messages, laughing about how I'd better sign before he realizes his marrying up. Telling a friend she was locking in long-term stability. Admitting she didn't see the marriage lasting forever, but at least she'd have someone contributing to her mortgage. And the one that hit hardest, his too soft to leave. He'll calm down. I stared at those messages until the letters blurred. She didn't just see me as a bank. She saw me as harmless, convenient, a placeholder until something better came along. Oddly enough, the anger didn't overwhelm me. What washed over me instead was relief. Pure, clean relief that I walked away before tying myself legally to someone who saw me as an account to draw from. I sent her the screenshots, no commentary, no attack, just the truth. 2 minutes later she called me, but I didn't pick up. Her next message was only 3 words. Please don't go. I turned off my phone. It's been months now. I'm not rushing into anything. I'm not bitter, just wiser. People ask if I'd ever take her back, if I miss her, if I regret it. I don't. What I regret is that I loved someone who measured everything in terms of what she could gain. I regret that I ignored the feeling in my gut every time she looked at me with calculation instead of affection. But walking away, that was the first decision in that relationship that was truly mine. Sometimes the best revenge isn't anger, or proving them wrong, or waiting for karma. Sometimes the best revenge is simply refusing to be used, and leaving the door behind you closed for good.